Alright folks, many things distress me, but the one on my mind that is most prudent right now is certainly the potential for some significant flooding across the northeastern United States, and up to 6 inches of rain or more are possible over the next week or so. In this video I'm going to try to give you all the details on what I expect. Now here's the current high pressure map and low pressure map, surface map they call it, across the North Atlantic right now. One feature I want to point out to you is right here we have the 1039 millibar high just south or southeast of Nova Scotia. That's going to continue to shift east. And to the northwest you see some cooler air, and as we zoom you into the United States surface imagery, what you see here is that cooler air is moving in out of Canada, is now established a presence with a deep trough in the western United States and the north central United States with quite cold air. While at the same time we've got moisture streaming up from the Gulf of Mexico, and this is creating an area right now across the upper Ohio Valley where we're seeing rain and thunderstorms developing and the first whiffs of a significant rain event. A major rain event? Not quite. That is what I expect across the Northeast. Now I keep talking, blah 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 blah, explaining it. I'm telling you that there's going to be a big flooding. Well, although you might not believe me at this time, once I show you these maps of the forecast models, you will start to perhaps have the same concerns as I do, especially if you have a basement that floods, or if your area is prone to flooding. For me, that's a double yes. Now, let's just take a look at the NAM model to see what happens as we go out through time. Here we are by tomorrow morning, early, around midnight, actually, tonight/tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. And what you see here is heavy rain moving back up across the Ohio Valley. Meanwhile, moist flow continuing out of the south. Your convection streams up through the day, and you're getting isolated flooding of scattered thunderstorms, etc., back in this area. However, east of that area, once you get back up through here, this is where you're getting just the hard rain falling and not as much a convective deal. Now, the rain lights up in intensity as you go through the evening, as your moisture flow kind of concentrates on a main event low pressure system that moves from New Orleans to Mobile in a matter of hours between 6 and 9 p.m. on Saturday. And as you go through the nighttime hours, it moves through the deep south, and by Sunday morning you're going to end up with heavy rain developing through the Smoky Mountains. And as you go on later in the day, that's going to move up through the Appalachians. And once it gets essentially east of the Appalachians, it's going to start drawing moisture out of the Atlantic, which is going to create some more heavy rain associated with the system. And that is exactly what happens as it moves off to the northeast. Through the day on Monday, most of the northeast gets its rain, and Monday night across upper New England, and then the storm is basically over by Tuesday. Now, in terms of total rainfall accumulations, here's what the GFS wants to do with the storm we're looking at. My forecast has been for the last couple days is widespread 1 to 2 inches. Folks, that is verifying. We have the light blues and the purples showing 1 to 2 inches of rain, and then isolated spots will get 2 to 5 inches along with the corridor of heaviest rain. That's verifying. The 2 to 5 inches is likely going to be 2 to 3, an isolated 4-inch amount across the northeast, and then other areas possibly across northern Ohio. European model wants to print out even more rain across the northeast in excess of 4 to 5 inches, which is why, folks, yesterday their models were printing out at most 2 to 3 inches, and we're saying, blah, 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 yeah. Well, now we're seeing those models printing out in excess of 4 and 5 inches. This time it's across northern Maine. Now, as we go out through time, this one event doesn't distress me greatly. What distresses me greatly is the storm that comes right behind it. I'll show you the GFS for regards to the storm, and here it is. Here we are by late Wednesday. This is the afternoon hours. We've got snow coming back up through the Midwest. Blizzard conditions, but you know, they can deal with it. What we can't deal with in this region is the flooding. Okay. And what you're going to hear about a lot of hype is the flooding out in this region, but in my opinion, that's not my greatest concern. By later on the day, Wednesday, you're getting heavy rain and a couple of storms moving through Dixie, but that activity really picks up through the nighttime hours, and by Thursday morning you're seeing a corridor of extremely heavy rain basically over and west of the Appalachians as your low pressure center bombs out in south central Michigan. You're getting a little bit of snow pushing through the Ontario area, and you're getting maybe a start of snow in southern New England, but that quickly goes over to rain as heavy rain moves through during the day on Thursday. Thursday night, the I-95 is going to get slammed with rain. Alright, and that's the case in New England through the day on Thursday. Or, excuse me, through the day on Friday. So, folks, how much rain are we going to see for these two events combined? Here's what the European wants to put out here. Definitely a solid 2 to 5 inches of rain across this entire area. That's going to cause flooding. But then you've got a new contour. You figure, okay, some spots are going to see 2 to 5 inches with the first one. It's the same deal with the second one. But if it's over the same area, that's 4 to 10 inches of rain added up. So we are going to see 4 to 10 inches of rain. And right now, I want to put it over central and western New England and also northern New England. That's what the European does. And now the GFS here, you see your 4 to 10 inch jackpot from New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania back up through central New England, but the GFS in this loop runs out of time, and then I'd imagine it basically extends it back up through here. This is all happening within a week, folks. So these storms are within a week of each other. The first one comes through Sunday, Monday for the Northeast. The second one comes through Thursday, Friday for the Northeast. So we have one full business day to recover. And at that, and you know, if you know anything about rivers and runoff and flooding, the rivers crest the day after the rain ends. So your rivers are cresting on Wednesday from the first event. Then the rain comes Thursday, Friday. So next weekend, next week, not this coming weekend if you're watching this on Saturday, not that weekend, the next weekend after that, 7 days out, you might just be dealing with some serious river flooding across the Northeast, which is going to cause some absolutely major problems. So a very significant event coming up in terms of rainfall. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please stay tuned to Stormtopia.com and the Stormtopia.com Facebook page for more updates.